resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. Broadcasting from the tubbyandcoos.com studios, here's David and Brian.
Good afternoon, New Orleans. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, David D. Squared DeCorbier with
Brian Held.
Brian, this is our, what are we calling this?
We're going to call it the Supplemental episode.
The Week in Geek Supplemental. Yes.
Like Stardate, Supplemental.
Oh, I thought it was like vitamin supplemental.
Oh, well, I just kind of thinking about the Star Trek theme there.
Yeah, okay, so Captain's Log. What is the star date? Today is October 18th. No, today is
the 18th is when we're recording this.
We're recording it on the 18th. We're going to put it up tomorrow. So, as always, we strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek, or check out our website at twigradio.com, or follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. Now, Brian, we've had some exciting developments with twigradio.com because it all rolls into your intro.
Well, yeah, so obviously folks are listening to us on Spreaker. That's how we're getting it out to the podcast community. The Spreaker app, Spreaker.com. We also, Spreaker links into everything. It sends tweets out for us. It sends it out to Facebook. And it uploads to YouTube as well. We have that YouTube channel, the Week in Geek radio show on YouTube. So a number of ways to check us out online.
Now, Brian, they can also follow us on Periscope as well, which is what we're doing right now as we're recording this broadcast.
We are doing it right now, so that means that they'll have
24 hours to watch this video.
24 hours to watch it.
So watch it. We need to, we've done the intro. Let's talk a little bit about Major League Gaming. You covered the event with Scungy. You were there. How was it?
It was great, man. So Major League Gaming was in town in New Orleans at the Ernest Morial Convention Center all weekend long. Championships, it was their 100th iteration. Total crazy spectacle.
Now,
it was
the championships are going on today, right? This Sunday,
right? Yeah,
and that's when they're giving out $500,000 in prizes, or they've already given away some prize money.
It's going to wrap up today, so all that money's getting given away, and it's pretty spread out. They spread the wealth there. We noticed, like in the Dota tournament, how they had $200,000 divided up for Dota.
That's a lot of scratch.
Oh
man.
yeah, and it was $100,000 for first place, and then $50K for second, and then breaking it all down to a total of $200,000. They had Call of Duty, Super Smash Brothers, just a ton of crazy stuff going on. Vendors were out there, different like Turtle Beach. Was out there.
Yeah, the headphone people?
Yeah, the headphone people. There's a local guy actually was out there with Gaming Throne, which
I saw the picture of you in that.
Oh yeah. So GamingThrone.com if you want to check those guys out. Crazy. It's so super comfortable. It's a pleasure to sit in. I wish I had enough money to get one. So
yeah, it looks a little pricey there.
It is a little pricey, but definitely worth it if you can get the scratch. Look, honestly, how much time do you sit in front of your computer?
Dude, you can see the ass imprint on my couch right there. The couch in the man cave, it's got a permanent depression in there. I'm going to probably have to buy some new sofa stuffing because I sit in it constantly.
If you're going to spend that much time in front of a computer, right, why not be comfortable doing it? Why not have all your amenities in easy reach? So GamingThrone.com, go ahead and check that out. Really super cool. We need to kind of set up the rest of the show, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, this is a little, I'm not going to say abbreviated show because this is actually going to be a fairly regular-sized show. I mean, we have 4 interviews. We have Jim Gavin. Who's that? Alice?
It's Elise.
Elise Arden's Dawn Chartier.
Yeah, it was a dual interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kimberly S. Daniels, Mitch Faust.
So all these interviews are from Contraflow. Our time there, met a lot of great authors, guests out there. So that's contraflowsci-fi.org if you're looking for additional information. So yeah, let's roll the first interview.
This is Brian Held of the Week in Geek radio show, and I'm here at Contraflow 5 Deep South Con 53, and I'm with Jim Gavin. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay, or do I need to get closer?
No, you're fine. You're
okay.
fine.
Okay.
So, you're an author here. I see you have 2 books,
Right.
Hard-Boiled Vampire Killers,
Yep.
and I'm so intrigued. Smart Ass of Mars.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my Smartest of Mars is my new one. Hard-Boiled Vampire Killers. That's my first book, and I've just got a couple of the old paperbacks that I have left over from that print run here that I'm trying to fire them off. But I'm more playing around with the new one, Smart Ass, because I put that out myself, and so I've got a big stack of books I need to sell.
Oh, yeah.
It's out on Kindle, too. I put it out on Kindle first, and I had one guy in the reviews mentions, hey, where's there going to be a paperback? You know, the law about comments, that if there's like one commenter to 10 people thinking the same thing, I think it is.
Okay.
So I figured, okay, there must be some demand for it, and I know people at cons like to buy physical books, so I had some for that.
No, that's great. So, Smart Ass of Mars. Are we talking something like John Carter here?
Yeah, basically, what this is kind of like my tribute to the classic Sword and Planet genre of books. So it takes a lot from like Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter, but also other authors like Lee Brackett, Otis Adelbert Klein. There's some reference to him in there. Even other authors like Philip Jose Farmer, who was a big Burroughs fan. My mission with this was basically to try to inject some freshness into the genre, because I found it to be kind of pretty dead. It's like a museum piece. The older books are really fun, but what I found was that even when people tried to write a new Sword and Planet book, they would kind of do everything exactly the same.
Okay.
Like, same type of main character, same type of story. So I wanted to do different story, different type of main characters, but at the same time keep the core elements of the story and what everybody loves about the genre. Fantastic action, chivalry, and of course on a totally different planet, with alien races. So keep all of that stuff, rescuing princesses and all that sort of thing, but put it in the modern day for a modern audience. I mean, the hero is very different from John Carter of Mars.
So when you say like kind of a refreshing of the tale, is it set in modern day times where someone from the modern day goes to another planet?
Yes, and it goes to Mars, the actual Mars in our solar system.
All right, okay. And yeah, because that was my first question. Was it going to be this 1920s type?
No. It's the guy is 29 years old. He lives in his mom's basement. He doesn't have a job. He spends most of his time on 4chan. I don't know if you know 4chan.
I know about the dark underbelly of the internet.
Yeah, so he's that type of guy. But he's from a family that's a very old, wealthy Virginia family, but I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on his history. But that's how his connection is one of his ancestors was a Civil War cavalryman who was somehow mystically transported to the planet Mars, came back to Earth, and set up this whole thing in the basement of his mansion, and for his family to be able to join him if they were worthy enough. And so this kid discovers it when his great-grandmother dies, and then, like I said, he's totally not the type of person that you would see in one of these, a typical style of story like this. He's like 5.5 feet tall. I think he weighs like 120 pounds soaking wet. He's not very physically active. So it's the kind of person that you would say, well, he's just going to be dead meat when he gets there, but manages to survive. And I wanted to tell that story from that different side, look at that same world from the different angle than it usually is. Like society on Mars, he sees it more from the bottom up instead of from the top down.
Okay.
Like in Sword and Planet, it's usually, the guy becomes a prince as soon as he gets there. He's hanging out with the royalty. He's living in the castle. And meanwhile, in my story, it's like I said, he's on the mean streets. He's sleeping in an upstairs room in a tavern, and hanging out with the dregs of society.
All right. No, that sounds cool. I'm definitely intrigued. Yeah. So now, let's take a step and look at. I'm looking at the cover of Hard-Boiled Vampire Killers, and to me, it speaks of either Indiana Jones or what's the Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah. That was a big inspiration for that book. I mean, that one is the first one that I ever got published, and it was a trunk novel that I had for many years I don't know if that's a too insider term or not, but basically I had it sitting around and was always playing with it. And I managed to work it up enough to where I got it to where a publisher was interested in it. But yeah, I was definitely inspired by Big Trouble in Little China. And actually, not just that, but I realized, I didn't start with this plan, but I realized later when I finished it that it had a lot in common, a lot of inspiration drawn from a book called Sharky's Machine.
Okay.
It's an old Burt Reynolds movie from the 70s. They made a movie out of it, but this book is all set in Atlanta and has a lot of real locations in it. It's just because it's a vampire novel, yes, but it's more about the people that go around killing them, and it's mainly more like an action buddy movie. You know, like you take two guys who are so different and they team up and fight vampires, basically. So, like one guy is a vampire hunter. He's an Atlanta native, and he's kind of old and crusty, and he, you know, has been homeless several times, and but manages to scrape enough together to do what he does. It's more of a dedication thing. He doesn't make money off of it. He doesn't work for anybody.
Okay.
The other character is an American-born Chinese kid, first generation, whose parents run a business, but they were also vampire hunters in China, but he retired, and so the son discovers this, and so he starts out on his own path, and then they, you know, so it ends up being like kind of like an 80s action movie vibe is what I wanted, and I got pretty close, you know.
No, I mean, that's great. I mean, I'm sure you've seen Kung Fury recently, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, we love the 80s
it's
vibe.
Not as over the top as that.
Okay.
It's not like that. No, but I, you know, those are still great, but that was not what I was doing. But yeah, that was a lot of fun too. I like that. Or Turbo Kid. I haven't had a chance to watch Turbo Kid yet.
I haven't seen that, no.
Oh, that looks really good. It's like a Mad Max, you know, BMX movie.
Oh, gee.
Believe that.
All
like
right.
a 10-year-old kid cutting people's heads off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I guess my big question, the number one question, how do we find you? Where do we find these books?
Okay, best place to buy my books is I'm on Amazon. You can get both the paperback and the Kindle edition of all my books there now. Only Smartass is out in paperback right now, but everything is available on Kindle. And then maybe if there's enough demand for it, I'll put out some new paperbacks. I've just got a couple old out-of-print paperbacks here at the con, but later, you know, people aren't going to be able to do that. So go on to Amazon. JimGavin.net is my blog, and yeah, that has links to everything. That's an easier way to find, or you can just search for me on Amazon and find me that way.
All right. Any Facebook, Twitter, any of that kind of stuff?
Facebook, yeah. Just look for Hardboiled Jim on Facebook. I am on Twitter at Hardboiled Jim, and but you know, I do the social media. I'm not as good as I should be about it, but I am on there. All right. You can find me on there.
Well, Jim, it's an absolute pleasure for you taking the time with us, and we appreciate it. And we're not only looking forward to checking this out, but seeing more from you down the road.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Leave the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week, and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
The House of Shock presents The Resurrection. The all-new House of Shock is back, bigger and better than ever, with 2 all-new attractions. Seaman Scungy's Bordello of Freaks and the 3D event Laugh in the Dark. Starting October 2nd and every weekend through Halloween. Come early for live entertainment and a fully stocked bar. For more info, go to houseofshock.com. You haven't lived till we've scared you to death.
You're listening to the Weekend Geek on Fox Sports 1280. Here's David and Brian.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Weekend Geek on Spreaker.
Yeah, on Spreaker.
Yeah.
You can find the Weekend Geek on Fox Sports 1280. And we're on Thursdays at 6 p.m. And we follow up the Corey Johnson show.
Yeah.
Go up. 6 Monday through Friday. But hey, look, we are going to be doing a live event. We're not going to be live on the radio, but you can see us out of our fishbowl at the radio station in public. We're going to be at the House of Shock, October 23rd, Friday. The doors open at 7:30. We're going to get there probably 7:30, 8.
Yeah.
We're going to hang around, have a few cocktails, get lubricated before we go into the House of Shock at 9 o'clock. So come on down. We check out our Facebook page. We put up an event there. And if you have not been to the House of Shock, you should go. But also, if you have not been to the House of Shock with me.
Oh, God. Look, this is a spectacle. This guy screams like a little girl.
I scream like a girl. But the problem is they touch me. Yep. Everybody at the House of Shock knows me. And so they come after me with a vengeance. I can't turn one freaking corner without getting my butt grabbed, my face punched. Well, I haven't been punched. I got tackled one year by freaking Age.
Oh, God.
Dude, he beat the snot out of me.
I'll bet.
Knocked my glasses off. And people in the front and back of the group ran off screaming in terror because there was this one black girl. I'll never forget it. She was so funny. She goes, "Lordy Jesus, they touched that man!" And she started booking it. "Lordy Jesus, they touched that man!"
All right, so that's not the normal experience for folks, but this guy over here,
it's a normal experience for me.
Right.
Just saying.
So anyway, it is indeed a spectacle. I witnessed it for the first time last year, and I'm excited for next Friday.
We get all liquored up and we go through the House of Shock. And but no, the tickets are, I believe, on the 23rd. I think that's the first week they go up. Of course, sorry guys. I think it's like $30 for that night. But there's 3 events, and also our gaming reporter Scungy and his pick of the week. He's going to be out there. Well, actually, he won't be out there, but he has his own event named after him, Scungy's
Bordello of Freaks.
Bordello of Freaks, and then the all-new 3D event, Laugh in the Dark. So we're going to be out there, and for that $30, you get all 3 shows, all 3 adventures, as it were.
Yeah.
So it's like $10 a show. So, I mean, it's a good deal. Come out and hang out with the Weekend Geek crew and have a good time. We'll have a few cocktails and have a good time.
Yeah.
I already said have a good time.
You did.
But we're going to have a good time, damn it, Brian. Brian, damn it.
You're going to have to do a lot of editing on this.
Damn it, Brian. I'm not editing anything. This is going straight in the podcast. All right, guys, so coming up next, we have another interview from
Elise Arden and Dawn Chartier, 2 authors that I met at Contraflow. They were so gracious to sit down and talk with me for a while, and that's up next. All
right, so stay tuned. When we come back from this interview, we'll have some more interviews and talk crap. All right, stay tuned. This is the Week in Geek on Spreaker and Fox Sports 1280.
This is Brian Held with the Weekend Geek Radio Show, and I'm here at Contraflow 5, Deep South Con 53, with 2 wonderful authors, Elise Arden and Dawn Chartier. Hello, ladies.
Hello. Hey.
Hey. And so, tell me, Elise, let's start with you. What books do you have that we can tell our listeners about?
So I have one book, my debut novel. It's called The Casket Girls, and it's about 3 different urban legends in the French Quarter. And historically, they don't have anything to do with each other, but in this book, they're tied together through fiction. It takes place in an immediate post-storm New Orleans, so it has a little bit of a dystopian feel, but it's very rooted in reality.
Oh, nice. And yeah, I believe you mentioned that November is the release date for this, right?
Yes, so it has had a first print run that is just about to end. There's a few copies left of the original print run at Tubby and Coos, and probably some other places around New Orleans as well. But Skyscape is relaunching the book in November with a new cover, new material in the book, which I'm really excited about. And I'm actually getting my books next week at Comic-Con in New York and doing my first signing with the new book, which is super cool. And then the second book will be out next year with Skyscape as well.
Cool. And all right. And Dawn, you have a paranormal romance series?
Yes, I do. It's the Vauqueray Witch Sister series. The first book came out around Halloween last year called Bewitching the Enemy. The second book in the series that came out is His Wicked Desire, and it's basically 4 sisters who never knew they were witches, and all of a sudden the oldest sister accidentally releases these dark evil spells, and now they have the bad guys after them, warlocks who are after them and want to get the spells back, and there's romance.
Nice, of course. No, that's great. So, Elise, I'll pitch it back to you. This originally, the Casket Girls are originally published online and went viral. Like, how did that process work through?
Not strategically at all. It was part of a New Year's resolution. I wanted to do something new. I wasn't feeling very creative, so I started writing this story from a hotel room and just was really pushing myself, and I posted online just to give myself some kind of accountability mechanism. Like, you have to do it, you have to do X amount a week, and you have to then post it, and I never expected anyone to read it, but then people started reading it, which gives you even more accountability, which is great.
Right.
And I just kept going, and when I would get stuck, people would be like, when are you posting the next chapter? Which was very strange, and people are commenting on your work in real time. The original draft is like 6,000 comments online, and I eventually solved the mystery that I was writing, and it became a full-length novel. To no one was more shocked than me.
Well, and that seems like a really interesting process to put a book together. I know Andy Ware, who did The Martian, did something very similar in that process. So when I read about his book, he said that his fans, the people who were following, gave a lot of feedback and helped them out. Did that happen for you as well?
I have a ton of feedback, and I know that his process, from what I've read, is maybe a little bit different and affected his writing, but it was a lot of scientific knowledge coming in. I didn't change my writing at all according to the feedback or the comments that I was getting, but it was amazing nonetheless, because it was like a lot of conspiracy theories, like people saying what they think is going to happen or who did it or how it happened. So it's really interesting. It's almost like you get to be inside the reader's mind while they're reading your story, for better or for worse. But it's a very cool. And I actually just started a new a serial on Wattpad, which is the site where I originally posted the Casket Girls, and it's to support the launch of Crimson Peak.
Okay.
And it's called The Bone Princess, and I'm really excited about that as well, because it's just really fun to interact with people while you're writing. Since writing is such a solitary experience, it kind of flips out on its head.
So Dawn, how about your writing style? Is it that more solitary, traditional writing process?
It definitely is. You pretty much sit at the computer all day long by yourself. Whenever I do get stuck, though, I reach out to my friends, and we'll plot together and, push each other to keep going and not to give up, because it's lonely.
Yeah.
You have all that self-doubt creeping in. I can't do this. And then next minute you're like, oh, this is really good. And then next minute, I can't do this. So you need other people to help you, push you, and who know what you're going through.
Well, that's great, though. But it sounds like you have a core group of other authors, right, peers, that can help you work through processes.
Right. I belong to a writers group called SOLA, and they're in Metairie, and everybody is from brand new authors to authors who have like 40 and 50 books published. We get agents and editors to come in and help us, and just working on your craft. It's really a great group to belong to. It's part of Romance Writers of America.
Wow.
But you don't have to be a romance writer to join.
Yes, we have mystery authors, we have horror authors, sci-fi, a lot of sci-fi, young adults. I mean, you name it, we have it.
So I was just talking to somebody inside, and they were mentioning apparently New Orleans is a hotbed for authors. Like, it is so many authors here. Is that actually the case?
I think so.
All right. Well, that's good news for us. All right. So, kind of wrapping it up. The big question, right? How do we find out more about you? So, Elise, where are you on the net? How do we get in touch? Find out your books, all that good stuff.
I'm everywhere online. I'm very easy to find, but I will mention Dawn and I both are on a panel at the end of October around Halloween. It's called the Undead Con.
Right.
And it's all paranormal literature, and it's focused around, or it started around Anne Rice's ball that she has every year for Halloween, and it's tons of awesome paranormal writers, both, kind of in the fiction and nonfiction side of things. So if you're into paranormal, come check that out. It's really fun.
All right. So Facebook, Twitter,
We started on everything, or the Casket Girls. Yeah.
All right. And Dawn, how about you? Where do you find you on the net?
You can go to my website, Dawn Shortier, that's CHARTIER.com, or I'm on Amazon, iTunes, everywhere, libraries. If you go to Barnes & Nobles, you can ask them to order my books, and they will. Not on sitting on their shelves, but they'll order it if you want it.
All right. Well, ladies, it was fantastic having the time to talk to you, and I appreciate it, and we'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
The House of Shock presents The Resurrection. The all-new House of Shock is back, bigger and better than ever, with 2 all-new attractions. Seaman Scungy's Bordello of Freaks and the 3D event Laugh in the Dark. Starting October 2nd and every weekend through Halloween. Come early for live entertainment and a fully stocked bar. For more info, go to houseofshock.com. You haven't lived till we've scared you to death.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me. Leave the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week, and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
My name is Optimus Prime, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. Autobots, transform and roll out.
All right, welcome back. This is The Week in Geeks. The Contraflow
interview special.
Yes, this is the Week in Geek Supplemental. All right, now, Brian, you were out amongst the patchouli-wearing hippies of New Orleans.
No, come on now.
Damn hippies.
No, come on. There was a lot of great folks out at Chew Burn It All. That was Ignition Chew Burn It All out in New Orleans East this past weekend, and what an incredible spectacle that was. Just a crazy art show. It's kind of like Burning Man, if anybody's been out to Burning Man. Just A lot of folks coming out, temporary art, right? You know, they built this Wookiee idol and set it aflame. Right?
Wait, so did they set other stuff?
There were three big sculptures, I guess, wooden sculptures. One was Deep Thought, right, from Douglas Adams and Hitchhiker's Guide, right? So Deep Thought was set alight on Friday night. Then they had the Chewbacca, the six-armed Wookiee god, set him up on Saturday night at 10, and then later on at midnight on Saturday they sent up Mission Control, which was kind of this dome kind of deal.
Okay.
So it was really cool, but a lot of spectacle out there. They had constant like music all around the site. They had this one DJ booth set that was set up. It was made out of like these industrial water containers. Like if it were loaded with water, you'd need a forklift to move it around.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Right.
Yeah. So
And
elaborate.
Well, they had lights behind them, and it was set up like a cube. And there was a DJ inside the cube. So it's like set up way high. And so people would be dancing below, and they're set up above them. And then the lights are on this pattern. So they're all blinking in time with the music. It was wacky. It was crazy.
So I'm just going to assume that everybody was completely sober and drug-free during this experience out there.
Well, so they had R4D20, right, with a big spliff coming out of one of his exhaust ports.
That's awesome.
Right? And apparently, this is the report from one of the overlords telling me that Woody Harrelson showed up.
Get out
to DJ with R4D20. Yeah,
dude, that is awesome.
So very crazy. There was huge, like these big containers, like 18-wheeler type containers that were set up. People were doing graffiti art out there.
Oh, on the trailers.
On the trailers, yeah. They had the Chewbacca's radio was set up. I did some time on there for Chewbacca's radio. They had food vendors. It was great. It was a cool time. Weather was perfect.
Dude, we really lucked out on the weather this weekend. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it was a lot of fun. I mean, I just
and while I was there, I got an exclusive scoop.
So now, before we get to the scoop, though,
right.
let this. We're going to tease them for a minute.
All right.
Now, this was the very first True Burn at all, the Ignition Fest.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to assume that this was mostly a success.
Yes. No. All the indications that I got from the organizers, they sold out. The event was sold out.
Wow.
And more than likely, I don't see why we wouldn't do this again.
As much as I like to tease and poke about how there were hippies there. Chewbacca has their stuff wired tight. I mean, they are amazing organizers, and this parade always goes off without a hitch. So I mean, they really got their stuff down pat.
And they are a PR machine. The scoop. You ready for the scoop?
Yeah, I'm ready for the scoop.
All right. The scoop is that normally Chewbacca is only green powered, either human powered or having battery powered, renewable energy and stuff for all their contraption and floats. Next year, gas powered floats.
Get out.
Right. Yes,
they are going to be carbon. They're going to be emitting carbon into the atmosphere.
So
don't they know New Orleans is going to sink?
It's very specific. All right. It can't just be some, to quote unquote, it can't just be some truck with tinsel thrown on it, all right?
What?
There's a guy in Florida who has a Cylon Raider vehicle.
Yeah. He brings it sometimes out to like Geekonomicon and stuff.
Right, and he wants to come out and be part of Chewbacca's, right? This is his opportunity. Also, we've got the Louisiana Ghostbusters out here. They've got Ecto-1, right?
Yeah, Ecto-1.
They can bring that out. Somebody's got a Batmobile. They can bring that out.
It seems like even though they want to be green and friendly to the environment, by doing this, it seems like they have just almost doubled the size of the parade.
That's it.
I mean, they've really just exploded their ability to make a parade.
Why not get bigger, right? Why not grow this and bring those fans I mean, look, I've been to Dragon Con several times. I've seen the parade and all the craziness that goes on out at that parade, all the vehicles that show up, the Mach 1, the 7 Ecto 1s I've seen before, just all the craziness. Yeah. So, hey, let's bring that down to New Orleans. Let's have that in Chewbacca.
Oh, man, and that they would love to do it, and then just, that seems like a fairly brilliant idea on their part.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're going to go rocking into the next interview. I believe we have Kimberly S. Daniels coming up next, right?
Yes.
So, guys, stay tuned. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. But you're currently listening to us on Spreaker and Periscope. What's up?
This is Brian Held of the Week in Geek Radio Show, and I'm here at Contraflow 5, Deep South Con 53 with Kimberly Daniels. How are you?
I am wonderful.
That's fantastic. So you are one of the author guests for this event.
Yes.
What have you worked on? What books are you an author of?
All right. Well, I've got the Valkyrie series right now, so that consists of at the moment 2.5 books. So working on the third. It looks like it's going to be 4, maybe 5. I've got some bigger publishers are reading it right now.
Really?
So it might be retitled and recovered and revamped in the next coming months. I'm not sure how that's going to affect book 3 coming out.
Okay.
I'm hoping to hear back by the end of the year about how that's going to happen. So I'm a little bit in limbo in a way. I'm still just plugging along with book 3. I want to finish it by the end of the year. But if it gets picked up, they'll have to re-release everything. And so that would kind of put, some space in between everyone who's waiting on it to actually get the next installment. But I think, overall, it'll obviously be worth it.
Right. So for our listeners out there, what is the Valkyrie series?
It is a near future science fiction novel, or novels rather, and it's written more in sort of the Asimov, Heinlein kind of vein. It's a bit old school sci-fi. It's some people have called it military sci-fi. I'm not sure if it qualifies. I feel like since I've never been in the military, it isn't as I don't like to say military sci-fi and then get people's expectations too high. But it is, I guess, light military sci-fi, if that makes sense. There is a war. All my characters are in the military. There's robots, of course, because I love robots. It takes place within our solar system. I'm not sure how I want to handle warp speed or wormholes or whatever it is now. So I've confined it to that. And each book sort of takes place basically in one spot. So the first book is mostly on Earth and a little bit on Luna. The second one is mostly it's sort of a split narrative. My bad guys on Luna and my good guys had to flee to Ganymede. And then my third one, it looks like it's going to be mostly on Mars. Fourth one is going to be split between Mars and Titan.
Wow.
So I'm trying to also kind of name it. My chapter names are sort of reminiscent of the old school sci-fi too. So I know a lot of people don't do chapter names anymore. I'm a big fan of titles with chapters. So I like that old school feel from the 50s and 60s.
Right. So you clearly, you have a series. You mentioned to me earlier, probably 4 to 5 books for this series. You're on book 3 right now. When you started this endeavor, was it intended to be a series?
No, it was going to be one book.
All right.
And I started writing, and when I got about halfway through the first book, I realized that there was no way that I could do this in one. And so I decided to make it 3 because that felt right at the time. But once I got to the end of book 2, I realized it was probably going to be 4. And now that I'm halfway through book 3, it's starting to feel like 5 because I have an end point as far as sort of the overarching where I'm doing. And I have characters that could do other stuff eventually, but that would sort of be a different series in the same universe. But this sort of arc that I'm working on, it seems like the closer I think I'm getting to the end, the further out everything gets. So, next time I might talk to you and it's 7 books. So
right.
It keeps growing and changing, but the end point is still the same. It's just how my characters are getting there is shifted a little bit.
Okay. And clearly your focus right now is getting done with book 3, but I thought I heard it a little bit like, do you see threads for like maybe focused books on certain characters or just different story arcs that you can keep this going?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't want to give away any spoilers necessarily, but I did something on accident in a way that is going to allow me to keep the series and several characters alive for hundreds of years.
Okay.
And I have a lot of robot characters, so it's those, but I've also did something to at least two of my human characters to allow for this as well. So after this main sort of arc is over, I could pick up with them 100 years later and have sort of a whole nother series arc with that in that universe.
All right. Well, cool. Well, so what other bodies of work do you have out there?
I have a couple of short stories. I did a werewolf story and an anthology called Lunar's Children.
Okay.
And on Farillion, sci-fi.com, I have a very short Heinlein-esque story that came out in August. And I've got a Kindle sort of a prequel book to the Valkyrie series, so that's up as just an ebook.
Okay.
Right now, as writing-wise, that's all I'm doing. I don't get to write as much as I used to because I took a new job. I'm teaching at the Alabama School of Math and Science now, and that is proving to be a lot of work.
I'm sure.
So I had to cut back on the amount of time I write during the week. So my weekends are just slap full of working on book 3. And I get these other ideas for great stories, and I always write them down. So I've got my little notebook. So if there's kind of a lull in the writing, I'll flip through my notebook and be like, oh yeah, that was a good idea that I thought about 4 months ago.
Right.
Let's do something with that, and that'll be sort of a nice break. But I know a lot of people write different series at the same time. Mm-hmm. I really can't do that. I focus on one series, and then if I need a break, I'll do 1 or 2 short stories, and then I'll go back to it.
All right. So for our fans out there that want to find out more about the Valkyrie series and more about you as an author, where can they find you, like, say, on the net?
I'm on Facebook under Kimberly S. Daniels. I am on Twitter at Kim S. Daniels. I'm on Instagram at Kimberly S. Daniels, I think. They're all linked together. I don't really have a web page. I've been putting that off for a while, so mostly just all the social medias. I'm all over that. And then, of course, you can go to Amazon and buy the books and Barnes & Noble and things like that, and the series is there.
Are they self-published, or you have a publisher?
I went through Amazon, and right now two bigger publishers have the manuscripts, and they're reading them, and so it looks like they might get picked up either maybe the end of this year or the beginning of next year. But yeah, I self-published the first 2, and it got enough attention that an agent wanted to pick me up, and then now she's sort of shopping it around to people.
Wow, well, that's great news. Well, hey, Kimberly, I appreciate you taking the time, and we're definitely looking forward to more great stories coming out, from you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Leave the smoke behind and come chase the clouds at the Vaping Tiger in Metairie. The Vaping Tiger has everything to suit your vaping needs, from starter kits to advanced devices. We specialize in handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices designed to tickle the most fickle taste buds. Come see us at 2812 Athenia Parkway, 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. That's the Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway, and at vapingtiger.com. Come out of the smoke and join us in the clouds. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Wits Inn is an upscale neighborhood bar and pizza kitchen in the heart of Mid-City at 141 North Carrollton. Wits Inn is open 7 days a week, and the kitchen is always open late. Make Wits Inn your home for sports. With 18 TVs, the NFL package, and the SEC channel, you'll never miss a game. Check out our food and drink specials like Thursday $5 pizzas and the Wit Maker at WITSINN.com. Wits Inn Bar and Pizza Kitchen. Think, drink, live, laugh.
The House of Shock presents The Resurrection. The all-new House of Shock is back, bigger and better than ever, with 2 all-new attractions, Seaman Scungy's Bordello of Freaks and the 3D event Laugh in the Dark, starting October 2nd and every weekend through Halloween. Come early for live entertainment and a fully stocked bar. For more info, go to houseofshock.com. You haven't lived till we've scared you to death.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek radio show, and I'm here with Mitch Faust. How are you, sir?
Doing fine.
Fantastic. And you are, from what I can see here, a phenomenal artist. You just some incredible work that we're looking at here. Just tell me a little bit about what you have going on.
Well, right now I'm just, I've got a few book covers and a few other projects I'm working on, but pretty much just trying to do my own stuff and play my own game with it.
All right, so we're here at Contraflow 5, Deep South Con 53. We're in the dealer's room. You're set up, and I'm just looking at a lot of incredible pieces. You have there's a mermaid here. There's some Native American influenced artwork, some African influenced stuff. Like, where do you draw your inspiration from for your art?
I really love textures, and the textures of the Native Americans or Vikings or just any of the leather and the furs and all that type. I'm really into that. I like rendering textures.
All right, and render it well you do, sir. There's some incredible stuff here. I'm just totally blown away. So, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been an artist?
Serious about it since the early 80s.
Okay.
I was in the black and white boom of the comic industry, worked in that for a while, done some gaming stuff, done a lot of book covers, that type thing.
With, like, any in particular you can mention? You know?
I did a lot of covers for Malibu Comics back in the day.
Okay.
The black and white book I worked on was The Last Generation. It was from, I guess, about 85 through 89. Done book covers for different publishers, done some work for Bane, done several other smaller publishers. Gaming stuff, worked for Kinzer and some other smaller companies.
Okay.
Going on for that.
So, you know, as an artist, right, I'm sure you have to find multiple avenues, right, different projects and things to get involved with. What kind of projects have you been working on lately?
Well, I just finished a Kickstarter for my 2015 yearbook. I really got involved in doing eBay back in about 2000, 2001, and did that up until the market crash in 2008. But I built up a really good clientele all over the world, really, and they've been keeping me going. And my fan base is small but very loyal, and they support me very well.
With what I'm looking at, sir, I'm not surprised in the least. Your stuff is just fantastic. So for our listeners out there, how can they find you? You know, to see all of what I'm seeing now.
Right now, my web presence is on DeviantArt. It's Mitch Faust, MITCH.deviantart.com.
Okay, and Facebook?
Facebook, I am on Facebook. Just search Mitch Faust, and I've got my personal site, and then my fan site will pop up.
So this Kickstarter that you just finished here, this yearbook, how long have you done these yearbooks?
Since about 2009.
Okay.
And I do one every year. You can watch for me in the spring. I'll be putting up a Kickstarter again. You friend me on Facebook, and you can. I'll certainly be posting when it's ready.
So I'm assuming this is your yearbook is like a best of Mitch Faust?
It's everything I did for the previous year.
Okay.
There's pencil sketches, there's paintings, there's preliminary stuff, there's stuff for ad agencies, there's all kinds of stuff. It's everything that I did in the previous year.
And I can see of all the things that you have at your table here, like the yearbook is only $20. That's quite affordable for some incredible artwork, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, Mitch, I sincerely appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing more from you.
Thank you so much.
Now back to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280 with local celebrity Brian and that other guy. What's his name again? David, I think. I don't know. David? Yeah, it's David. Okay.
See, stop talking, Brian. All right, welcome back. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is our special interview edition, Contraflow, and...
Just talking about general geek stuff going on in the city over the past weekend since we've been on the air.
Yeah, no, it's been a busy weekend for Brian.
Oh, yeah. So, all right, so are we ready for some
we
this
are
week
ready.
in geek
So without
history?
much further ado, This Week in Geek History.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
This week in Geek History is brought to you by The House of Shock. Find them on the web at houseofshock.com. This week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
All right. So, first item on the list. Are you ready, Dave?
I'm ready. What is it?
Is October 18th, 1985. Nintendo releases the Nintendo Entertainment System with robotic operating buddy and zapper light gun for $125.
Get out. Was that Duck Hunt? Duck Hunt? I never had the robot. What the hell did the robot do?
He had this little spin top deal, and he would put it on, like, I don't know, something, and it would spin, and you would have to do something within the time until it fell off. I
never had it, so I don't know. I
yeah.
had Duck Hunt, and well, actually, my best friend had Duck Hunt. I was still with a freaking Atari 2600.
Yeah, so same here.
I did not get the height of technology with the light gun and playing Duck Hunt, but man, when I went over to his house, good times.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
All right, what's next on the list?
Next item on the list is October 18th, 1922. The BBC is founded to establish a nationwide radio network in England, and later, of course, they brought us great stuff like Doctor Who and Monty Python.
Oh, side note. All right, So did you get to watch Doctor Who last night?
I just caught up this morning.
Okay, all right. So the trailer for next week's episode has Maisie Williams in it again. Were you aware that she was going to be in more than one episode? I was not.
Well, okay, so I didn't see the trailer for next week's episode, but because I just cut it off when the credits rolled. But this episode is a two-parter.
It is?
Yes.
I was not aware of it being a two-parter.
Yeah, it's like every episode. This was the 5th episode, so the first 2 were a two-parter. The 3rd and 4th are a two-parter, and now it's like the 5th and 6th are a two-parter.
Did I miss an episode somewhere in here?
Did you?
No. You had the 2 with the dialects, then you had the one with the ghosts in the ship in the underwater.
That was a two-parter.
It was?
It was a two-parter. Maybe you only caught the second one.
No, it was. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I guess they melded into 2. I guess I didn't remember it being a two-parter.
And that kind of harkens back to the older episodes. I mean, Doctor Who was kind of serialized. The older stuff where it would be, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes in an entire sequence.
Okay, yeah.
So that's
and we can still have Breakfast with Baker on the BBC. They're still airing old Tom Baker episodes. So if you have not seen them, watch them.
Yeah.
I have them on VHS.
All right, I got another one. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
October 18th, 1954. Texas Instruments announces the first transistor radio.
Don't mess with Texas. God, Texas. I was at the butt end of the height of technology because we had a Texas Instrument glorified calculator / computer.
Are you talking about
cartridges that you would slide in?
The TI-84 calculator?
No, it was like the size of my laptop, but it was really clunky and big, and it had something for a cartridge you could slide in.
So, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that because there's the TI-65, I believe, graphing calculator a lot of kids use in high school.
Yeah.
That we saw that back in the 80s, 90s. Kids were using that. Right. They're still using the same calculators today.
Well, yeah.
All right.
I mean,
they're still charging the same prices.
What, like $80?
They're like over $100.
Yeah,
right.
The graphing calculators. Yeah.
And I read this huge article that basically, Texas Instruments is got a hand in the textbooks industry, right? And they're writing all the textbooks to complement the specific calculator. Next item on the list. You ready?
Yes.
October 19th, 1995. Kevin Smith's Mallrats, starring Jason Lee, Jeremy London, Shannon Doherty, Ben Affleck, and
but
Stan
you
the
said
Man
it was
Lee.
a good size. When a woman says it's a good size.
Yes.
That was just fly.
Yeah.
So many great quotes.
No, it's a great movie. I love all of Kevin Smith's stuff.
Now, and Michael Rooker was in that movie, and Brian and I, we interviewed him.
We did.
And you can find that on our... Where the hell can people find that old interview?
I don't know that
we're
they
gonna have to put it
right
back
now.
up on twigradio.com. We'll put it back up there for you people. But we got to
Eventually.
talk to Michael Rooker, and he was friggin' awesome.
All right.
He's a redneck, too.
Last one I've got is in honor of Halloween coming up real soon. You ready?
Yes.
October 19th, 1990. A remake of George A. Romero's classic Night of the Living Dead is released.
Which remake?
I don't know. It's just it's my notes.
Well, the remake that I liked the best was Tom Savini. Did you ever see that remake?
I don't know. Maybe
he remade it, and the girl was a lot more. She wasn't a wimp. She was a much more heroic character. And at the end, the guy that you really wanted to die, she blows him away. It was really awesome. So the Tom Savini remake was really cool.
No, that's cool.
And we got to get drunk with him one time at good Lord, was that
You
a Crescent
did.
City Con?
No, you sure it was?
Or was it Exoticon?
It was Exoticon.
That's
Yeah.
it. Good times, good times. So, all right, Brian, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode of The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. Now, Brian, once again, we want them to like us on Facebook.
That's facebook.com/The Week in Geek.
Follow us on Twitter.
At TWIG Radio.
And download our podcast at Spreaker.
Yes. And they can find us on the web at twigradio.com.
Hey, and we need people to follow us on Spreaker, too, huh?
Yeah, if they could follow us on Spreaker, that'd be great.
That's new, because we're new to the whole Spreaker thing as of right now.
Yep.
We used to use TuneIn Radio, but not anymore. So I guess that's it.
That's it.
We got the House of Shock event coming up this Friday, October 23rd. Meet us out there at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And that's it. So till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.